I'm going to cry. I'm going to move on. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6. I want to share a picture of some of y'all right there. You know, some of y'all's cousins. That's some of y'all's aunts right there. My granny or somebody. Not my granny, but Lord. I couldn't help it. I had to share that with y'all. I do got a backup plan because I know if I leave it up there, I'm not going to get nothing done today. Somebody say you better obey your mama. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to read 3 verses. I'm going to go to John 2:5 in a moment, but I'm going to share a couple verses that you'll be very familiar with. Ephesians 6:1. Paul told the church at Ephesus, he said, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right." Colossians 3:20, Paul tells the church in Colossae, he says, "Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing unto the Lord." It's right, and it's well-pleasing. And then I'll read John 2:5, and you can read that along with me if you want to. I've got it on the screen. It said, "His mother saith unto the servants, whatsoever he saith unto you, do it." I want you to read that last part again. Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. I want you to read it a little bit louder so we can hear you. Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for your mercy and grace. I thank you for the beautiful ladies that are in this room. They are smart. They are overcomers. They are powerful. The sisters in this house have been through some stuff that the brothers in this house could only dream about. Some of these ladies have been through things that would have had other people in straitjackets, but you have kept them. I thank you for being a keeper, because if you had not kept them, I wouldn't have had the privilege to intersect their lives and ours. They've blessed me as a pastor. They've made my life richer, and I thank you for that. And I'm asking, God, that this Mother's Day be a special Mother's Day for them, and that your Spirit just hover over top of them, and that you do great things, not just in their life, but in their children's lives, in their spouses' lives, and that you would move in all these situations. And we're going to just trust you to do that today, and I'm going to need you to help me, to give me clarity of thought and speech, that you give us unction here and action there. And I want to preach to everyone in the house of God, but I'm asking for a special blessing today upon these precious women. And I'll give you the thanks for it. I'll give you the honor for it. I pray in Jesus' name. Somebody shout amen. Amen. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. I thought that'd be a little bit more palatable for some of y'all. Oh, no, that's pretty good right there. Give me some sugar. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know if you know this or not, but Mother's Day is the third most celebrated holiday of the year behind Christmas and Easter. And I think that's right. I think it's good. There's 145 million cards sent to mothers around this time of the year. $14.6 billion spent on just dinners. 69% of those are flowers. And more long-distance calls are going to be made today than at any time in the rest of this year. So I begin this sermon again by saying to you, I love you and happy Mother's Day, and I hope that today is a special day. It was 3 sons that left home. They all became pretty rich. And a particular Mother's Day, all 3 of them sons came back and they met together. And one of them said, "I bought Mom a house." They're just trying to top each other, you know. "I bought Mom a house. It's a big mansion." The second son said, "I sent her a Mercedes and a driver." The third son said, "I've got you both beat. You guys know how much Mom loves the Bible." He said, "So what I did was I bought her a brown parakeet. And I sent it to a monastery. And for 12 years, 20 months, taught that parrot every single verse in the Bible. I also had to pledge $100,000 a year for the next 20 years. He said, "I think it's worth it." So now all she's got to do is say chapter and verse, and that parakeet will quote it just like that. Well, a little while later, Mama sends out a letter. And she sends it out to little Ricky and says, "The house that you bought me is way too big. I only live in one room and have to clean the whole thing." She sent a letter out and she said, "Now, Ralphie, I'm too old to get out and drive the car. The Mercedes is just sitting in the driveway and that driver is so rude." She said, "Rusty's the only one that really knew what I wanted. She said, that chicken was so good. That chicken tasted so delicious. It has no relevance whatsoever to the sermon, but I read that today and I thought I would share it with you. There's no doubt in my mind that being a mother is the most difficult job in the world. The thing that amazes me is that you love it, most of you. And the ones that don't, we're going to try to work on that too. It's a beautiful thing. It's a God-ordained institution. Mothers. All across the country right now, single mothers are raising men and women of God. They're raising young men and ladies up by themselves because somebody walked out on them. I salute you. My hat is off to you. What do you say about a mother? I don't think we thank you enough. I don't think I told my mom the other night, I said, if you'll tell me what I can do to be a better son, I will start trying to do that. She was very humble and nice and didn't tell me anything, but that is still on the table. I want to be a better son. You did? Oh yeah, what was it? Spend some time, right? Or something? Yeah, it was generic. It was like Mom always does. Mom lets us off the hook too easy. I don't have time today to go through it all. But I'm going to tell you, brother, something. If you've got a good woman, you need to stop thanking God for your trucks and cars and boats and houses and jobs. And outside of salvation, you need to start putting her first. You need to start saying, God, thank you. Two things. You need to say, thank you for giving me her, and thank you for not giving me them. Because I almost made a few terrible mistakes. Sometimes I look at my wife and I say, thank you for her, and thank you for not. You see, it could have been a lot worse for you. And she cooks for you, and she cleans for you, and she loves you, and she supports you, and she takes care of your children, and that's an incredible thing altogether by itself. But the very fact that she puts up with you says a lot. And I think we need to set our minds today that from this point forward, we're going to try our absolute dead level best to let our wives and these mothers know how much we appreciate them. Can you agree with that? Well, come on, please. If not, I'm going to have an altar call here in a little while. Well, I mean, seriously, and I think this was a true story right here. I read of a husband who was feeling guilty because he hadn't been very attentive to his wife. And he decided to change. And so on his way home from work, he bought a box of candy. And he bought some flowers, and he was going to surprise his wife. He comes to the door, he knocks on the door, and she comes out, and he starts singing, Have I Told You Lately That I Love You? And she breaks down, and she starts crying, big tears flowing out down her cheeks, and she says, this has been the worst day. She said, the children have been awful. She said, the washing machine is tore up, and said, now you've come home drunk. Well, the truth is about that, a lot of times we are so hesitant to show our appreciation. Guys, I think we need to do better, because if we don't, they're not going to really know when to take us serious. It needs to be more than just a Mother's Day gesture. It needs to be more than just after she births that child, you have to have respect at that point. You're like, oh, for a week or two, this is the greatest woman in the world. You know what? Just because she heals up and just because she's walking around cooking again, it doesn't change the fact that she ought to be your hero tonight. These ladies in this house are powerful. If the brothers can't say amen, I think the sisters ought to be able to. I want to talk to you today about an incredible story out of the 2nd chapter of St. John. And really what I want to do is highlight probably the greatest mother in the Bible, at least the most famous mother in the Bible. That was Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ. In John chapter 2, we find that there is a wedding going on, and this is an incredibly important situation. I don't know the relation. I don't know why Mary is so interested in this wedding. It doesn't say what the relationship is. It doesn't say who the wedding is for, but it's very important to her. And so we find Mary in the middle of this marriage. And when you look at verses 1 and 2, you're going to find that the spouse, I guess the groom, is that right? The man, the groom. It was his responsibility in these days to take care of all the celebrations. And so the reason I'm saying it must have been a pretty important person is because even though it was the groom's responsibility, this mother, she's going frantic. She's making sure that everything is in place. She's making sure that everything is going right. And the Bible said in verse 1, the third day, there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there, and both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. It's a big deal. It's not just a little thing. I used not understand people spending all the money that they spent on weddings, and I still don't for some people because it didn't last very long. But the truth of it is that when you enter into that vow, when you enter into that union, you are entering into the most sacred union that you could possibly enter into. It ought to be a celebration. There ought to be dancing. There ought to be a feast. There ought to be rejoicing, because it is a glorious and grand thing. It is a union so incredible. And the Apostle Paul compares it to our union with the Lord Jesus Christ. That's how incredible the marriage union is. It is a union that the Apostle Paul, the greatest theological mind maybe ever, stood back and said, this is a mystery. I don't quite understand how two can become one. He says, but it has, and he says it's a mystery, but he says it is a fact. And so we need to understand that this wedding that we're looking at here was a big deal. I mean, look at it this way. Little boys, they don't. I'm trying to talk to my boys about marriage, and they look at me funny, and they say, oh, Dad, I hate girls. I said, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You may not understand it right now, but you like it. Yeah, so anyway, let me go on the message right now. But they're not interested in marriage at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But the little girls are. They're planning out stuff. They're 3 years old and already know who they're going to marry, know when they're going to get married. It's a big thing. It really is important. And so the time that we're talking about here, in this hour, in this time, it wasn't just a come together and have a day off to your honeymoon. This was a 7, 8, sometimes a 2-week process, but almost never less than a week. And it was the most sacred and most highly esteemed thing, the Jewish wedding in particular. And maybe one day I'll talk to you about that, or Pastor Greg will talk to you about that some. But it wasn't just this, maybe let's do this, or maybe let's do it. It was well thought out. They were going to feast, they were going to dance, and they were going to drink, and they were going to celebrate, they were going to be festive, they were going to have a glorious time, because my daughter is getting married to their son. They are going to become one, and he is going to pass our name on. It was an incredible thing. Now, just because a thing is incredible doesn't mean that there's not going to be some bad things happen around it. You with me? John 2:3 says, and when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said unto him, they have no wine. But this is not good. This is not good at all. In fact, this is a huge problem. They are out of wine. And some of y'all will say, well, what if it was fermented or unfermented? I'm not really going to go there with you right now. But this word right here is a lenient word. It simply means wine. So if you're Catholic or Episcopalian today, you might be able to interpret that one way. If you're Pentecostal charismatic, maybe the other way. I don't know. But here's what I want to tell you. Whether they were drinking Welch's grape juice or something off the vine like that, here's the problem. They needed wine. They needed it bad. And if you ran out of wine in the middle of a feast like this, it was going to bring a reproach upon your family. It was going to bring a reproach upon everyone that was around them. And so when Mary comes to Jesus and she says, we've got no wine, she wasn't just complaining about something trivial. She wasn't just a nitpicking because something wasn't going. She wasn't trying to be a drama mama. This was a problem that was unparalleled. You don't run out of wine in the middle of a feast like this. And so when she comes to Jesus, she says, they have no wine. Jesus says to her, woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. Now, I know that sounds rude, but it's only rude because of the coarse nature of the King James Scripture here. But basically what he was saying was, he says, I know that you've got a problem, but it's not my time yet. It's not time for me to do that yet. And so you need to find another solution. She said, but I need help, all right? And so I've never really seen this until the last couple of days. Because, when you look at Jesus, you think Jesus is going to do whatever he wants to do anytime he wants to do it. But when Mama speaks, even Jesus listens.
Come on.
Y'all don't help me preach today. Mom, you don't understand it's not the right time. She says, I know that you don't think it's the right time, but I need your help, son. I need your help, Jesus. And you're going to find out here in a little while who's going to win that one, all right? This is what I like to tell the ladies in the house. Wise mothers always go to Jesus when they've got a problem. Right? She didn't go down to the distillery. She didn't go down to the vineyard. Isn't that strange that she's out of wine and she doesn't go to the tavern? She goes to Jesus. That tells me it doesn't matter what your problem is. He's never made any wine before. Jesus was a carpenter. He wasn't a distiller. He wasn't a vineyard, an orchard king. He wasn't in all of that. He was in the carpentry business. But there was something about him that said, if I've got a problem, I'm going to him. I wish that I could talk to some mothers in this house today that whatever problem you brought in here, and I guarantee you there's 1,000, I want you to stop going to the psychiatrist and the doctor and the banker and the lawyer first. I want you to take it to Jesus today. Woo! I feel like preaching a little while. She doesn't even wait really for an answer. She says, I need wine. We got to have wine. He says to her, it's not my time yet. She doesn't say another. She just looks and she says, servants, whatever he says to do, somebody say, just do it. She says, whatever he says to you, do it. I like that interaction because Jesus didn't say, okay, Mama, I'm going to handle this for you. She didn't have to hear him say that. She knew that if she asked him, that Jesus was going to honor his mother. My God, my God, my God. I'd like to see some of you today just do it. I'd like to see you give your heart to Jesus. Amen. So he says to the servants now, he says, you see those 6 stone jars over there, those water pots? They hold about 20 or 30 gallons each. I want you to fill each of them up with water. So the servants did exactly what he told them to do. I want you to notice that John says they filled them up to the brim. You see, I know some of y'all say that you're looking for a miracle. I don't really believe you though. Because when he says, I want you to fill up the pots, y'all's vision is about halfway up. You don't really prepare. Your vision is very small. Some of you, the greatest that you can conjure up in your mind is survival. If I can just make it through today, it'll be a great miracle. God didn't call you to survive. He called you to thrive. Somebody shout thrive. I'm going to preach whether you help me or not, but man, it'd be nice if we could collide in the house today. Amen. I want you to say, I want a miracle, but you only have about a half praise. Only about a half worship. You almost stood up on that one song because God almost knocked you out in the aisle. You ought not have to be knocked out in the aisle to raise holy hands without wrath and balance. You ought to be able to come in here broke, busted, and disgusted and still raise up your hands and say it's good to be saved today. If he's going to do a miracle, let's fill the pots all the way up. If the doors of heaven open up, stop asking it for little stuff. I want you to start asking it for everything. You can tell how much somebody wants from God by how much they put in the pot. I said you can tell how much somebody wants from God by how much they put in the pot. There's things that I can't even share with you because you wouldn't even believe. There's things that my wife and I hold our hands and begin to pray about that I can't even share in an open forum because a lot of folks want to pot you down here. I want mine overflowing. If God's going to do a miracle, I want to give him everything. Let him turn it all into wine. Jesus said, I want you to go and I want you to get the water out of those jars, and I want you to serve it to the master of the banquet. I want you to give to the master of ceremonies, and then I want you to start serving all the people, all the guests. And so they did. Now this is kind of something that stuck out to me because in my mind, and it may have been this way, but I'm beginning to lean a different direction. I think there's a possibility that he turned all the wine and all the water inside that pot to wine. But there's another side of me that wonders if it wasn't just water. And every time they dipped their cup into it, it turned into wine. You say, what's the difference? Because that was one miracle, but if it's every time, that's many miracles. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the way God works a lot of times. I wish God would give me $26 million. He hasn't done that yet. But what he has done is every time I had a need and I reached in there, I pulled it out. God has worked miracle after miracle after miracle. Because He loves you and wants fellowship with you, He'll say He'll give you your daily bread today, but tomorrow you got to come back. I'll give you just enough for now, but I want you to come back. Somebody say, keep coming back. I keep coming back. I keep coming back because He's got something for you in this house today. Jesus' mother needs help, and I'm sure that He wants to help her. He wants to make her proud. He wants to honor His mother, considering that's one of the commandments that He gave us. But the Bible tells us that Mary is under severe pressure now. I don't know what her role is in this situation, but it's serious, and she's now pressured. She's pressured, and she feels like it's her responsibility to find why. Jesus is watching, and she looks at Him and she says, listen, you're the Son of God. You've got the ability and the power to do something about this. So when she says to Him, we have no more wine, she's just, might as well had asked Him, please turn this thing around. He heard. She didn't have to articulate it in a way that made sense. He knew her heart. He knew the desperation that she was experiencing. Have you ever been to a place where you didn't know what to pray? You didn't know how to pray. Have you ever been to a place in your life that you had something missing, but you didn't know what was missing? And you try to plug it with church, and you try to plug it with a sermon, and you try to plug it with a song, but it didn't work. There comes a point where you got to understand there are some things that only God can plug. Not your pastor, not the first lady, not the leadership. There are some things that can only be remedied with a whisper in the middle of the night. There are some issues that only God can fix. I don't care who's around you. I don't care who you're connected with. There comes a point in every one of our lives we got to throw our heads up and say, help! I need you right now. We got number one. So she's not just making a statement. She's needing Him to respond. There's a problem, and she needs help. And some of you, and I know this is just a generic statement that can be made, but it is a fact. You have needs. Now, it's a pretty good season for the Lamb family. We may have some major needs, but God's got all of that covered. We're in good shape today. But for some of you, you come in here hurting. Some of you come in here carrying some stuff inside of you that you would never tell the whole congregation. And if the hand of God were to come out and write it on the wall, some of you would tip out because you don't want all the other people to know what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. You don't want your husband to know what's going on in your mind right now. You've got some bitterness that's starting to rise up, and you've got an issue. And I'm telling you right now, you've got to go to Jesus today. You've got to find Him. You've got to talk to Him. You've got to appeal to Him, because when everything else fails, when everyone else fails, God will never fail you. Is there anybody that can shout amen? I need you to understand, faith is incredibly important. But sometimes things get worse before they get better. Can I rephrase that? Sometimes things get worse before God makes them better. So I don't know if I can handle it anymore. If it comes upon you and it's too much to handle, He will make a way for you to escape. Sometimes the worst thing comes upon us before God moves. We can look at Joseph. Before he's able to go to the right hand of Pharaoh, he must pass through a pit. He must pass through the prison. I could talk to you about Simon Peter, who failed before he was able to preach that sermon on Pentecost. You remember that, right? I could talk to you about Jesus Himself, who had to be crucified, hung on a cross before He could be resurrected. Sometimes what you're going through turns for the worse, and then your faith is challenged. The enemy would love to steal your faith from you. If he can take your faith, he can put you out. You know, let me explain something to you, very important. When your faith fails you, you've got nothing else left. Jesus says to Simon Peter, He says, Simon, Simon, Satan has desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. He said, but I prayed for you that your faith fail not. He says, you're going to cuss, you're going to deny me, you're going to talk about me like a dog. He says, but when you're on your back, when you're flat on your face prostrate, He said, I want you to remember who your God is. Because when you fall out, if you still got enough faith to know that if we sin, we've got an advocate with the Father, you will reach out and let God heal you today. Don't lose your faith. You thought he was about your car. The devil don't drive. You thought he was about your money. He don't need your money. You thought it was about your health. It's not about your body. He doesn't need that. He's an angelic being and moves at the speed of thought. But you want to know what the enemy wants from you? He wants your focus and he wants your faith. He wants your focus and he wants your faith. You've got to guard those two elements. The enemy cannot have my faith. If I'm like Job and I lose it all, even if he slay me, yet will I trust him. I must stay focused on him. No matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter what happens to me, no matter what comes my way, I must stay focused. A lot of us are experiencing worse things. The worst end. We are out of wine. We are out of finances. Where our relationships are stuck and some are non-existent. And we're going through situations. And I say, how could I ever get through this? Let me read you a scripture. 1 Peter 5:10, but the God of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory by Christ Jesus, after that ye have suffered a while. Somebody say afterwards. After you have suffered a while. That's weird. Because that's not the way we're taught. But he said after you've suffered for a little while, he's going to make you perfect. He's going to establish you. He's going to strengthen you. He's going to settle you. The God of all grace, who has called us unto his eternal glory by Christ Jesus, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you. Establish, strengthen, and settle you. Establish, strengthen, and settle you. God is not forgotten about you. And when he's done with the enemy, the devil's going to say, if I'd have known she was going to come out like this, I would have left her alone. How are you going to come out of this? A lot of times we're so narrow-minded, we're just trying to figure out if we're coming out. I think we need to start talking about how we're going to come out. I'm tired of us coming out like we're victims. We are not victims. We are victors because Jesus Christ lives inside of us. If I can just make it, I don't know how I'm going to make it through this. I don't know if I'm going to come out. Shut that stuff up. Shut that stuff up. You're going to come out in the name of Jesus, and you're going to come out more powerful, more anointed, more wise. You're going to be gloriously powerful when you come out. Say it again. Say after this. Say it like you mean it after this. My God, my God, my God, after you've suffered a little while, after you've ran out of wine, you need to expect a miracle. After the finances are gone, you need to expect a miracle. After they've lied on you and gossiped on you, you need to expect a miracle. After she walked out on you, you ought to expect a miracle. After he turned his back and walked out on you, you ought to expect a miracle. Because when the wine runs out, Jesus is going to walk in. I'm telling you, God has got a miracle in this house. Many of you listen to this message today are living in verse 3 of that miracle. We're living where the wine is gone. We're living where the wine's run out. We're living at the end of our rope. We've run out of hope. I've been here for so long. How am I going to get out of this? You're not. You're not going to get out of this. I said, you're not going to get yourself out of this. I'm more city slicker than I am hillbilly. Let me rephrase that. I'm all city slicker. No hillbilly. I'll just be honest with you. But I remember at 17, 18, going forward in Jackson County. And it never really made sense to me, but it was okay because it was not my truck. I didn't care. They was blowing their trucks up, then I'm blowing them up. I was having fun. But I remember they would get stuck Bogged down. And they were really smart, these guys, because they would put it in reverse, and rock it, and put it in drive, and rock it, and reverse, and drive. And I would watch their truck go boom, boom, bogged down. Further and further and further. And they hit drive and they hit reverse. They hit drive and they hit reverse. And finally they would roll the window down, stick their head out and say, help. And someone with a little bit more torque, a little bit more power, and hopefully it was a Ford versus a Chevy situation. Somebody gets some bragging rights. They're going to hook up to that stuck vehicle and they're going to pull it out. And that is exactly what I see in some of your lives. You won't stay away from the sin. You won't stay away from the wicked ways of this world. You push it up. You pull it back. You know you're in trouble. You know that you're going down. But I'm trying to tell you, the more you try to do it, the more you're going to get bogged down. Would you stop? Would you raise your head to Jesus and say, help! I need help getting out. We're at the end of our rope, but it's all right. Jesus doesn't need a rope. We look for solutions for our financial issues in casinos and credit cards. We look for solutions for our relationship problems in chat rooms and Facebook and inappropriate conversations. And we have all these solutions that we try to put together. But I'd like to tell you, don't go there. We see Jesus. He is the answer when there is no wine. I know that you want to try to do it yourself. I know that you want to try to find a way to back up out of there. But it's not going to happen. I don't care how many times you try. I don't care how many times you go to church. I don't care how many times you do what you do. Until you surrender all and say, here I am. I need you. You're not going to get out. You're not going to get out. We need to move from verse 3 to verse 10. Here's the deal. Jesus saves the best for last. I believe I'm living in the day of the coming of the Lord. I have been able to shake it all morning long and just so I'm impressed with that. My heart's so heavy. I think I want to see Him. I think this could be the generation that sees the coming of the Lord. Things may get worse before they get better. Let's talk practically for a moment. Look what happens in verse 10. The servants give the master of ceremonies a cup of water. That's what it is. They fill it with water. Something that has no taste, no sustenance. And they dip down and pull out a cup of water. But somewhere between here and there. Now nobody knows what's going to happen with Jesus right now. I think Mary probably had some kind of unction that something was taking place, but these servants don't have a clue. They said, why do we bring the water? Why would we do that? Just do what He says. And the servant brings this cup of water. But God has done something. He's transformed something so innocuous, something so bland. He's done something. He's changed the chemical makeup of it. And the master of ceremonies takes a drink and he says, this wasn't customary. Typically, you serve your best wine first, and they're so drunk by the time you're done, you can just give them whatever, and it doesn't matter anymore because they're so intoxicated at these large feasts. But that's not what's going to happen here, because Jesus saves the best for last. Verse 10, He says, every man at the beginning does set forth good wine. And when men have well drunk, then that which is worse, but thou hast kept the good wine until now. You've kept the good wine until now. Here's my point. Things may get worse, but I need you to remember that Jesus saves the best for last. God's best is coming. Don't you think it's worth the wait? I don't understand everything in my life. I don't understand why certain things go certain ways. I don't understand the changes that I incur sometimes. But I walk by faith. I don't always understand the financial situations. I don't always understand the health issues. used. I don't always understand why one service is 140 and the next service is 80. I'm just being transparent with you as a pastor. Sometimes I have questions about the ministry, about my position. Am I doing it right? Am I the right man? I have the same questions that every person in this room has. But I know that God has called me. And so when those questions come to my mind, I have to keep on walking by faith. And when there is no wine, I've got to call out on Him, dip my cup down in it, and say, I don't know how He's going to do it, but from here to there, God is going to work a miracle, and He's going to work a miracle for you. But you got to use your faith. You got to use your faith. I want the best God's got for me. And if I got to pass through the valley of the shadow of death to get there, even so let it be. If I got to go through this to get to that, I've got enough faith to keep walking. Do you have enough faith today? I want His best. I'm tired of mediocrity. I'm tired of just getting by. I'm tired of mediocrity, mediocre ministry. I'm tired of mediocre singing. I'm tired of mediocre church. I'm tired of mediocre ministries. I'm tired of mediocre prayer lives. I'm tired of mediocre everything. God has called us to be the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath. I have been called to be more than a conqueror in Christ Jesus. I'm tired of mediocre church, mediocre worship, half-hearted servitude, serving when you want to, hide at night, worship tomorrow. It's all hypocrisy. He'll be Lord of all or Lord not at all. You need to put up holy hands and keep them up. You need to let God have everything, or He's not going to take anything. He's looking for a total and complete surrender. Is there anybody in this house that'll say, I surrender all? It doesn't matter what I got to go through. If the best is coming, I cannot stop now. I cannot lay down now. I cannot surrender now. I got to keep on keeping on. Before I close this message, Sister Beth, Sister Ashley, if you come, I want you to notice that Jesus' wine is better than their wine. This, I never saw this. I've read St. John probably a couple hundred times. I don't know, many times. I've read this text over and over and over. I just hadn't thought about it. Jesus' wine is better than their wine. I said Jesus' wine is better than their wine. You need to wait for God to go. You need to wait for God to fix it. You've got to stop drinking the wine of this world and let God, let heaven's wine come down and let heaven's bread fill you up. The reason that we're never full, the reason we're never satisfied, we want more is because we're eating on this world's bread. God's bread is better. Heaven's manna is better today. He had drank all night from their wine. They hand him this cup of wine. He's probably intoxicated now. It still doesn't matter. He takes a drink of that wine and he says, this is the best. If you're not real careful, you'll be tempted to give in. Throw in the towel. How far are you away from victory today? How far away? 2 inches, a foot? Is it a breath away? Is it one sunset away? Does He not deserve our total and complete trust? Oh, that's talking to somebody. Almost 80 overdoses in Richmond since January 1st. Somewhere around 10 deaths. What happened? They were trying to do it all wrong. That right there haunts me every single day. I love ministry. But the most powerful ministry on the planet is a local assembly filled with the Holy Ghost, filled with life, filled with joy. We go out there, we knock doors, we try to pull them in, but you know what? We have to try to get them in here. And when they get here, what do they see? Do they see victorious people who are filled with hope and joy and power and glory? Or do they see the people struggling with the same depression and same anxieties, same fears, same addictions on the inside as they're dealing with on the outside? We got to rise above that. We got to have something that they don't have. We've got to have an atmosphere in this house that when the broken and shattered and fragmented come in, they don't even remember what the preacher said, but they felt such a peace, such a joy. They said, I don't know what they got, but I want that right there. And that's not something you can fake. It doesn't happen because you put your church clothes on. You can put your church clothes on and be drunk. You can put your church clothes on and still smell like the other man. I'm telling you, you gotta have this at the house. You gotta have a holy walk. You gotta have a holy prayer life. You gotta walk this thing out. And when God's holy people come together in the house of God together, God is gonna do powerful stuff. Don't you get mad at me. Dare you get mad at me. We got a beautiful opportunity. This city's bleeding. I'm talking to you mothers too. Happy Mother's Day. You know what these daughters out here need? I need to be careful how I say this. These girls out here don't need another Hollywood actress. They don't need another prostitute that can sing, expose her body. That's all she's got to offer. No integrity. They're just glorified prostitutes. They may not sell their bodies for sex, but they're selling the body for everything else. And that's what our young ladies are looking to. I don't want Kanye West raising up my sons. Would you help me preach? I don't want Kim Kardashian raising up my daughters. I want some Holy Ghost filled men and women of God. We may not fly the highest. We may never have a degree from Harvard. But is there any men and women in this house that'll say, I'll be a mother in Israel. I'll be a father in Israel. I'll give your sons and daughters, Pastor Lamb, and somebody a role model. I'll give them somebody that they can watch and follow after. Is there any mother in this house that'll help Pastor Lamb and be a woman of God that my daughters can emulate?
All right, you talking good.
I don't need this unrealistic.
Come on now.
No woman looks like those ladies in those magazines. They don't even look like that. You young men, your head snapping over that junk. It's fake. It's all fake. And it's all going to pass away. You want to know what a real woman looks like? Look at the lady sitting down on the road beside you. That's a real woman. Yes, she might have gained 40 pounds, but she did it taking care of your babies, raising up your family. Yeah, let's lay it where it needs to be laid at. She ain't got time to go to the gym. She ain't got time. She ain't got the money to hire a nanny. She is the nanny. She's everything. And that's the kind of woman that I'm going to salute today. All my sons and daughters who look up to women that can take a licking and keep on ticking. I want a woman to lead my daughters who, when their husbands treat them like trash, they still tell old Jake, I don't think so. I belong to God. I want my sons to be able to follow men of God that may not be the richest, they may not be the smartest, but they are men of integrity, and they will live what they say they will. What kind of mothers have we got in this house? Why are you trying to follow that cult of beauty, that unrealistic cult of... Do you not understand how beautiful you already are? That's the reason the Bible teaches us that the more stuff we put on, the more jewelry, fancy clothing, the more stuff that we decorate the body with, the more it detracts from the Spirit of Christ that's inside of us. Do you know what God is saying? He's saying that you've got such a treasure inside of you, you don't need anything to make you beautiful. You don't need another thing. I'm not up here trying to preach against anything except this right here. You need to understand your worth. You need to understand your value. You are powerful. You are glorious just like you are. I need to quit. I feel it. Because you don't see it. You don't see it. You're always comparing yourself among each other. Half of those icons, half of those that you're looking to and trying to emulate, if they've been through a quarter of what some of you've been through, they'd be in straitjackets right now. Talk to me. They've been on methamphetamines for 6 years. They have no teeth. They've been all strung out in a jail somewhere. If them ladies have been through a quarter of what some of you ladies have went through and went through smiling, you came out on the other side. You'd understand that they ought to be looking up to you and saying, I need to be like her. I'm going to quit. Some of you brothers need to be taking some of these mamas out to eat and taking care of them. Listen and be careful, mamas. You want to be wise? This is what I want you to start telling everybody around you. Whatever he says, do it. First lady, you've been too rough today. Whatever he says, do it. Do it. Daddy, what do I do? Whatever he says. Do it. Whatever he says. Stand me across the house. I've got a lot of preaching inside of me right now.